I seen him at the bottom.
I didn't notice there was a camera back here. I usually don't like any evidence of anything I've said.
Or you?
Struck that, okay.
I heard you said you had dessert too.
I did, well, you don't know James Fun. We're going to get Edwin to come back up here. Edwin, I call him the father of our acreage. And somebody told me when I probably didn't touch on it, so I'll steal it from him. But instead of trying to make a portfolio for North America, our acreage is designed in the Midwest specifically for the United States for corn and beans. So it's a different portfolio combination. We have a new $15 to $20 million formulation plant in Boone, Iowa. If you come up to see the ammonia plant, you can see that right beside the Farm Progress Show, and all the manufacturers are done right there. So, Edwin?
Perfect. Well, again, thank you, Bruce, and thank you to the whole Ursa team. I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit about acreage. We're more than talking to you about acreage, what it is. I'm going to tell you about the why. So I joined Landus about a year and a half ago. I've been in the ag industry. I grew up in, I don't know, forever, because I grew up in a dairy farm, but no, I've been for 15 years plus, manufacturing, soil health, soil science. I'm a boiler maker, so don't take that against me. I'm on the wrong side. But no, part of why acreage was the issues with ag today in nutritionals. One, the biggest one that we know in Landus, we felt it, and then we said we're done with it, is distribution. And I came from Coke, actually, before Landus, the manufacturing side too. And it doesn't matter what great product you bring, if you're gonna bring it to the co-op or pretty much the retail system, distribution is gonna eat about 30% of the cost. And guess what? Winfield is not gonna pay for that. You guys are gonna pay for that. So distribution sucks nowadays, let me be clear about that. And at Landus, we were hating it, equal or more than you guys, so we said, we gotta stop. We gotta stop with that. And Matt Carson's our CEO called me and he said like, hey Evan, hey, we're coming up with an idea, acreage. We have $20 million to build up a plant, let's do it. And I'm not gonna say the F word he used to it, like we're gonna have Winfield. And I said, I'm in, let's do it. But then number two is nutritionals. 80% of the products on the nutritional world are created east and west. They come from California or the other coast. And then they make their way into the middle. And if you don't believe me that, check the labels. They have every crop under the rainbow that you can imagine, because most of the data, they are done actually, their first years is in almonds and sugar beets and potatoes and all that stuff. And then those products make their way in. And all the manufactured products, and I want you to think about the nutritionals that you're currently using, they are for a product that can work here, Texas, Dakotas, Colorado, Washington, wherever you put it, because that's the system. That's how it's created. Now, in order to do that, two things happen. Logistics, most of the products you guys use are manufactured somewhere east or west. Very few are manufactured in the Midwest. Nutritionals, chemistries, that game changed years ago. But nutritionals, most are still made east or west. And number two, ingredients. They will give you good ingredients, but they will also give you some crappy ones. And if you look at what's in your label, yeah, it might have the 1-2 trinkets that you have, but then it has like that. And I always say like, hey, that's like buying one of those pre-made meals. Yeah, you might like the piece of meat and the mashed potatoes, but you're gonna hate the other thing that they threw in there. So they do the same trick. They're gonna bundle one or two cheap things with one or two really good things that you're going for. So really what we were doing when we brought acreage was, okay, how do we break the model? And it was not rocket science. We're not a research company. We're not gonna come with the ultimate product that no one has that is like, oh my God, where do you guys get this from? I don't know, some weird algae in the middle of the Northern Pacific. No, what we did was we could cherry pick. And then we sat down with the manufacturers at their table. So instead of buying this final water from Aquafina's Pepsi, right, from Pepsi, then I can go to the manufacturers and say, hey, I need that bottle, I need that water, and I can add a few more trinkets to it, and then I can make my own water that is going to be way better than Aquafina for the same price that you buy Aquafina through distribution. And that's where the key of what Bruce was saying. I use the analogy, again, I'm all about analogies, and I say, allegedly best football player ever, TB12. The guy, at his prime, he played till what, 38, something like that. When he was in his 30s, he realized he couldn't keep eating even what the Patriots nutritionists were giving him. The guy created his own company. And then he started kind of like making his own supplements, nutritional stuff. And then, hey, he did play till like, what, 38? Really good, by the way, till he retired. So it's the same thing. I always say, and no joke, the I-States, the Cornwall, you guys are the Tom Brady's of the world. So why do we keep taking the quote-unquote cheap stuff that they give to the, I don't know, who's the Bears quarterback right now? Sorry for bringing that up. It changes every year, so I'm sorry. So yeah, but same thing, it's like, why don't we really crank it up 2 notches and do it the TB12 approach? Let's crank up to what our soils need, what our crop needs, what your guys' field need. You guys are pushing. You guys are not just going for those low yields. You guys are, again, maintaining, but then pushing that next gen. So why Acre Edge was that? It was kind of like that whole TB12 approach. We said, okay, we got to change that game. And then now what we were doing was go to our raw ingredient manufacturers, get premium ingredients, but then not only that, get technologies that we can add to those ingredients and then make unique products. And as I said, the key here, all proven AIs. Nothing that is so new that is snake oil or foo-foo dust or something like that. It's all proven AIs. What we're doing is just being able to create a product targeted for here and manufacture it in Boone, Iowa, which is about 4 hours from here. So we know it works, we tested it, we actually make products that are intended for our corn beans programs. Now, part of this, again, we control the narrative. We make these products, we get the raw supplier ingredients, we mix those in that $20 million facility that we just actually cut the ribbon, even though we had been cooking already for a little while. And then we control the destiny. When you guys get a product here, Ursa doesn't have to pay Winfield or Helena or Nutrient or someone overhead. This is coming from Boone to here to you guys. One step, that's it. And that is the beauty to it. And let me tell you one thing, these are not generics. These are next-gen products because no one has the stuff we have because we're making stuff for the I-States, for you guys corn bean growers. Now, this is the facility we just built. We're building a $20 million facility where we bring those manufacturers, again, those raw ingredients, manufacturers give us their premium ingredients, we add technologies, and then boom, we have those final products. This is actually last week we cut the ribbon, so you can see lots of tanks back there, lots of toys we played with, but this is my playground and what Acre Edge is in a nutshell. And our Gen 1 is what I'm going to show you, but also the beauty of this is we can make pretty much any product that you guys can think of. And not only make it better. So what do we have right now? And this is Acre Edge in a nutshell what we have. We have seed treatments, that's kind of like just for soybeans, and then we have starters, 424, 486, one zinc, one sulfur with zinc. We have a full lineup of foliars, a full lineup of adjuvants, next generation, then our above and below ground inhibitors for both for anhydrous, UAN, and urea. Now, I want you to check one little thing. That's this little Crop Power seal that is by all those products. Crop Power, I make the analogy that that's like when you have a computer and it has the Intel little logo there, same. That is our biostimulant, metabolic process, Eclonia maxima extract, plus protein hydrolysis. Why is that important for me? That's what makes our products unique also in the market. That's proprietary, no one else has it. That actually we went, outsourced from manufacturers that technology. And the beauty of that is that if you're gonna struggle with heat, with drought, that's your solution. Because really, you don't have anything. I don't know who here has the best rain dance that you can do, but hey, that's about it. So last year, for example, it was really bad one for us in Iowa with heat and drought. And crop power shine, and crop power, that's where it shines, because it's water uptake, root development, heat stress, drought stress, pretty much everything that we face now, and we're gonna keep facing it. So it's one of those that is a great tool. All our other products, I call them Crop Lift, is our bread and butter. That's, I say, our flagship product. And that's an example of what I'm talking to you guys about technologies. What has nature's built their whole reputation upon? One ingredient, not even one product. It was patented by them before. Potassium acetate. One ingredient, and that's why their products are actually decent. We can get potassium acetate now. They had a game for about 10 years. It was patented. Like they had it. Now everybody has it. What can Loveland? Loveland, what is their flagship product and what have they had for many, many years? Again, they have biostimulants, and they're accomplished, and that stuff that then everything has come kind of like after that. Our biostimulant, our crop power is a way better technology than that. But this is what I'm saying. This is not rocket science. What acreage is grab the best raw ingredients from manufacturer, grab technologies that you can add to those to make a unique product that no one else has. And we make it right here, knowing that it's going to work in the United States, especially. And knowing that the price and the ROI are going to be way better. That is acreage in a nutshell. That's what we have. And as I said, Crop Lift, probably a flagship product. I do want to see that product on every acre of corn and beans because I know it will perform. I had a grower that once told me actually like, hey, are you so sure about it? Like, would you pay for it? And I said, okay, I'll pay for it, but I'll make half of the ROI on top of it if you do a check at like treated and untreated. And then he said, okay, I'll do it in some acres. And he did send me actually a check at the end. He's like, okay, now I believe you. But I was my own saying, hey, I'll pay for it, but I get half of it too. Like if I pay for it, I get half it. It was just me and him, and he was like, okay, you're not full of it, we can do it that way, and he ended up paying some. So all I'm saying is that product pays. Now, all this too is our claim to soil health. Because that is like carbon credits, it's mayhem right now. And you do have snake holes, you do have people knocking on the door asking you guys, hey, believe in me, this is the best product, this is the best program. I always say that both carbon markets and soil health, it's like when someone dies in a movie and it's just like that white mist that you're like, hey, you're kind of going to heaven, but you have no idea where you're going. Well, we're putting a little bit of a roadmap there, like, hey, follow, this is where you need to come. Because if not, it really is mayhem, it's chaotic. Everybody's selling it, everybody's doing it. We need a roadmap. And that's for me, again, Crop Power, Crop Lift is a great way to get going, get started, put your foot on the door and go from there. The other products are more nice place in the portfolio. We have micronutrients and micro-edge boron. Those are foliar, micro-edge complete, a full package. We have a micro-edge zinc as well, all with that crop power technology. I call those more circumstantial. If you want to close that yield by the end of the season, flowering, kind of like getting those grains. And then Nitro-Edge SRN, Micro-Edge Rising K, and other great nitrogen and potassium source, and sulfur for beans as well. So really a lot of tools that you can plug and play, and I'll show you kind of like the easy way to do that in map. But this is what acreage is. Our adjuvants, a whole line of portfolio adjuvants that we make those in Boone, Iowa as well. Great for everything that you're gonna need. And the idea is not just another me too, is they have, again, Crop Power logo. They're gonna have something that will make them better and add value when you're kind of like out there just putting your herbicide applications. And your nitrification inhibitors, which, again, above, below ground. Now, anybody has an idea how much nitrogen we lose on average when you go and treat it? Average. 30? That's a pretty good number. There you go. That's spot on. 30% nitrogen. That's actually UAN, the best quote-unquote source. Urea and anhydrous, we lose about 40% in average. That's why we gotta treat every pound of nitrogen we put out there. And guess what? A year like this one, how was the fall? Kind of like warm and wet, dry, and then warm, and then how are we doing then? Some rains early, then that's when we lose a lot of the nitrogen. So about 40% urea and anhydrous, we lose 30% UAN. So we should treat that. And then, as I was saying, everything else. Now, this is how we see it. For corn, pretty straightforward. We have our starter, we have our seed treatment, crop lift. I was saying this when you mix it with your, pretty much your herbicide application. Then you have your fungicide, which, by the way, this year, I will recommend everybody be aware, keep an eye, make sure you have a fungicide in play. There's star spot everywhere, and it can take 50% of your yield in a freaking heartbeat. So don't play with it. I'm telling you, they've already identified tar spot across the United States, and it's not a nice one to deal with. So FYI, be ready. This is a year that is not to mess with in terms of diseases, especially tar spot. So what I was saying, this one you pair with your, again, herbicide application, but then here is where the trick is, and here's where we're going into the season. So crop lift, kind of like that stress mitigation, crop performance, potassium acetate, everything, and then your other ones. Boron, just kind of like make sure that crops finishes strong. Completed, you love foliars. Nitro-Edge, I would add it because it has some around nitrogen, slow release. So, because I feel like this year we've lost some, I would add a little extra. And the others are more like, yeah, plug and play. But I would say this is the year with this application, it's going to be a must. That fungicide pass, it would pay off. I always say that fungicides and inhibitors are like insurance. They might not pay you every year, but they're going to pay you every 3-4 years. And trust me, that year that it pays, which it looks like this is going to be one of those, you better have it. Because if you don't have it, you're going to regret it for the next 5 to 10. So I prefer to actually bite the bullet 2 years and pay the third one than to feel that 5 to 10 years of that yield that you're like, oh, you don't want to look back and be like, 2024, tar spot, oh yeah, I remember that year. It's better to say I remember because I put that fungicide and I remember because so keep that into account. And then beets, when we're talking seed treatment, same thing, then you go to a crop lift, which that is pretty much with your herbicide, which we're already done there, but then it goes back to fungicide. You can add rice and K if you feel like you need more nitrogen, potassium, sulfur. Micro complete is just your full package foliar, or crop lift is just that kind of like extra shot, stress mitigation, energy because it has protein hydrolysis, potassium acetate, zinc, manganese, etc. So this is how we position with Anchor-Edge. This is what we have. This is what we're bringing also to the table for you guys. Again, not a me-too, not what others have. If anything, is the best raw ingredients that you can find in some other products, but then put them all in one product, designed for corn, beans, high states. Would I recommend this thing in almonds? I don't care. But guess what? Helen and Nutrient and those guys, they do need a product that fits here and that they can recommend to the almond growers in Oregon. I don't care. I know it works in corn and beans right here. We made a product for corn and beans in the ice state, for higher yields, for soils that are better soils than the usual soils in Texas. I can give you guys an example, and again, from my background, some of those nitrogen products that they're bringing out right now, nitrogen fixation, they're going to work great in bad soils. Think about soybeans. When you don't put nitrogen, they nodule very well. But in good soils, they don't perform as well, because it's like adding some nitrogen to your beans. They're going to go lazy. So, same approach. This is why we put science behind these products that is just meant to really help you guys, your soils, your pHs, your yields, your varieties, corn and beans. This is Anchor-Edge. And again, 4 hours away from here. You need that product, it's going to be right here. In a heartbeat. And then these are products that actually show performance and that they're meant for you guys. This was last year. Crop Power, just the technology, not even the product, just the seal. This is corn, Iowa, 5 bushel. And that's pretty straightforward. This was actually a little different trial. This is what I'm referring to, tar spot and other diseases. Now, the product is not a fungicide or an IPM, but it's like you and I. The healthier we are, the better we're going to deal with diseases. I'm sure all of us here are full of pathogens. But guess what? I haven't heard anybody coughing or sneezing. So that's the key. Same thing with a crop. It doesn't mean that tar spot can't be there. It means that a better crop will compensate and kind of like defend better against disease. So it's the same way. Now beans, same thing, 7 bushel. Now remember, this is last year, Iowa, dry, hot. So, dry hot, crop power shines. I believe you guys get some dry hot right in the middle. There's not much you guys can do. Once it gets dry and it gets hot, that's bad news, right? It's about looking at the forecast every day and start praying. Well, this is about one of the few, if not the only thing we can do. That biostimulant, that stress mitigation suppressor, that's crop lift. So crop power is just a little seal. Crop lift, where I was saying the flagship product, this is where we see it shine. This is why we say that should be in every acre. Earlier better, but if not, that fungicide application is still open. We should still put some on there. And as I said, so that's kind of like what we have seen with Acreage out in the field and the products that we have created. Full portfolio, acreedge.com is our website. You guys can see all the portfolio ingredients, labels to the T. But as I said, if you guys have questions, just ask. If there's a product that you really like, hey Evan, I love this product, I use it a lot. And this is not fashion, there are good products out there. I just told you, Nature's, a whole company, but Nature's is really good because of one ingredient. That's what they base their whole company on, and that's fine. I can tell that to Tommy Roach, who is a friend and their chief scientist, and he'll say, like, don't say that out loud too much, but hey, he knows it. But it's science. It's not rocket science. It's simple science. It's raw ingredients. And what we're doing, the good thing is that now to the industry, the manufacturers, the raw ingredient manufacturers also hate the distribution because they cap them. Because they can't sell beyond. Because then they depend on Nutrient, Helena, Winfield to sell their own raw ingredients. Now, by kind of like taking that one out and connecting the dots, they're like, oh, I much rather working with you too and get my raw ingredients out there. Because if not, I depend on one guy to move my raw ingredients. So that's what we can do. Now, we wouldn't be able to do this without Boone, because that's where we bring everything, where we blend it, where we manufacture, where we distribute to you guys, and without both Bruce and the Ursa, because it's a whole different game. We are taking a risk. Trust me, we're not friends with Winfield or others right now, and we're okay doing that. We're making some enemies in the industry because we're saying we don't want to be your golf partner every weekend and give you a big check. No, we're actually breaking the chains, coming straight to you guys and saying, this is what we're doing. And we're excited about it. So that's a bit of Acreage, what we're doing. Any questions about our products, nutritional foliars, seed treatments, or any question about nutritionals in general? I mean, if you guys have a question about products or a lineup or biologicals or soil health or anything like that, fire away. We have some time to discuss that. Yeah. Thoughts or comments? You can call me crazy. It won't be the first time. And do you guys have our contact information in mind? You guys have a great team at Ursa. That's why we're here. We're not just blasting this to everybody. This is value-added technology that we need people and partners to understand why it's different. And that's why we're here. So the idea is, you guys have a great team, we like that team, and then we're also here to support. And we're here. We're not just over there taking the call. No, we're here. The fact that we're here today, I hope shows you guys. For us, it's as important to see the products out there, to talk to you guys, to learn about your programs, to work with the Ursa team and get things rolling, because we believe, we've seen it, and what we do is we want to collaborate. It says the word right there. It's true collaboration to its core. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Anything tied to, get a lot of hog barns up in Iowa, got a lot of hog barns around here. Yeah. Anything tied with nitrification or?
Yeah, so this side, nitrification, let me go back to the portfolio, a couple things. So the question was about manure, hog barns, and I can tell you quite a bit of that because I was one of the dirty ones. I did my graduate degrees a lot with manure. So Trilog Unilog, especially Trilog, is going to help you with some of the volatilization from those pits. We have a product too, Pit Pro, that can help with that. But more important, a lot of the manure you're putting out there means that your results are going to be high P. But let me tell you what, that not all of that P is going to be available. So you have a lot of P, but you don't have P. Your soil levels are going to tell you, hey, you're good at P. But guess what? Sometimes that crop is going to tell you, yeah, that's weird. You're kind of short of P. That is the challenge that you guys have. And for that, crop lift, crop power, soil health, as much as you can put in a nutshell, releasing that P that it's otherwise tied up to your soils is what's going to be key. And actually, we're coming with a round 2, so this is Gen 1. Round 2, this is, I'm breaking music here, but sheesh. So you guys are going to get this exclusive one. Round 2, we're actually coming with a product called Soil Power. And Soil Power is actually designed for that, for soils that have a lot of nutrients, especially like hog application, high phosphorus, high potassium soils, just releasing that. And the key for that product, it'll go with your pre-herbicide. So as you go with your corn beans, put that product because it's going to release every nutrient that you have on there. Because what I'm telling you guys can be deceived by your soil sample. That is just the truth of high P soils, hog applications out there. A lot of it, but it's going to be tight. That's just the nature of how it works in a lot of the soil. So you'll see and you'll be amazed by the results that you'll see from that phosphorus being taken out once you start releasing it from just being attached to your soils. And again, we have some stuff right now, both for pits, both for the operation, but also coming up for 2025, Soil Power would be a slam dunk for you guys. And that's a pre-herbicide product that for you guys that apply manure, I would go every acre, again, pre-herbicide, just add it, and then it'll help just get all those nutrients released. Because you do have a lot of money there. It's just that it's in like a really good vault that you can't access quite often. And that's why soil health for you guys, the ones with hog and manure applications, it's always going to be the easiest way. That's putting dynamite to that vault. So try to increase your soil health without breaking the bank, because you're going to release a lot of that P and K that it's otherwise tied up.
Yeah, what about nitrogen with hog manure? Our agronomist says only about half of it is available in school.
Yeah, so the question is nitrogen with hog manure, only about half of it available. He's actually positive. I would say it's actually even less than that. It's less than that. Now, I would say it's almost about a third only. I would still rely, and then timing is going to be key. If you're going to put it in spring or if you're going to put it fall, how you play with that, that's where an inhibitor would be a good tool to add, just to protect what you have. But I would say it's a third to half of actually the nitrogen that you put out there is going to be available. You lose quite a bit. It also depends if you're going to inject it or broadcast it, but in general, it's going to be half to a third of what you deal with. And that's just, yeah. And the thing is, remember, most of that nitrogen, the majority is going to have actually ammonia form, but ammonia is just like anhydrous ammonia. It needs water to then tie up, but you're already adding water to that equation, so that's the ratio. You're already starting your cycle of losing. So that's where the inhibitor helps, because you can already knock the first domino down, so you're just trying to kind of like hold it as close as you can. That's it. So about a third to half is what you're going to lose there. I would first of all protect it, add an inhibitor to the tank or wherever the spreader, it depends on how you're going to do it. But then, yeah, then you're going to kind of like go play with it from there a little bit. But yeah, I wouldn't count too much on it. That's why they will regulate it a lot, because of also how much you lose. So Ohio, Indiana, and I went to Purdue, and Ohio you could spread manure, not even if you want to, because again, it's based on actually the nitrogen content, because you're going to lose a lot, and it's going to go into leaching no matter what. So that's where it gets tighter and tighter. And I always tell everybody, it's just going to get worse. So we got to get ahead of the curve. But guess what? That's where adding the inhibitor now might pay us the kickback for credits and CI. So that's where the whole loop starts kind of like closing a little bit. Any more questions? Nitrogen, phosphorus, micros, anything?
And what about price sheet? You guys still price sheet at all? Or?
We do, and we could share that one. Pricing, again, crop lift, the one that I was talking about the most, we say that one is about $6 to $8 depending on the rate. 2 applications, we recommend those 2 that you guys saw, or go 1 strong. And then you're going to talk like 10. Again, so 10 to 15 is your ballpark that we're saying. That's your pick 1 or 2 here and go. And that's really because does more work? I mean, we haven't seen it cap, but here's where I say 10 to 15 is where I would start. Grab 10 to $15, pick your 1 to easy fits, and go in hard. especially with nutritionals. The other ones, as I said, all right, let's do this one, inhibitors. If you lose 30% of your nitrogen right now, UAN, let's say someone is applying 60 units. So we're gonna lose 30% of that. How much is that? 30% of 60, that's what, 10, 20. So 20 pounds, 20 units. How much, I don't know how much they'd like you here, but how much is 20 pounds of UAN nitrogen right now, UAN? Anybody has a dollar number? So we're doing a 16-pound.
About $1 a pound.
About $1, I would say, right? That's why I didn't speak up, because I'm not the one selling it to you, but about $1 a pound. So you're losing about $20, right? Average, losing. UAN, let's say you're thinking about putting UAN, because the year is looking like it needs a little extra, or fungicide, I'm thinking about putting 30, 60, do your math. But yeah, about $1 going on there. Now, to treat that 60-pound with Trila, which is your above and below for UAN, I can tell you it's going to cost you about $6 to $8. Ballpark. So you lose an average 20, and you can treat it with 6, 8. That's why, to me, I'm telling you, you should always treat your nitrogen. Now, I'll tell you also why. Everybody, again, some years a grower can come and tell me, hey, I tried that product and it didn't give me ROI. This is not breeding. Those years are over. So let me be clear about this. Breeding, yeah. How many more bushels? Get that thing out. Or if it has a trait, oh yeah, it does work. But a lot of this products is value added. What do I mean by value added? Inhibitors. Some years, let's say, you need about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain to incorporate urea. That is the science of it. So let's say you put untreated urea, and then you got 3/4 of an inch. Do you need an inhibitor? No, you're good. Now, how often you get 3/4 of an inch the first 3 days after you put your nitrogen? Never, right? But not only that, let me tell you, if you get anything less than those 3/4 of an inch, you start losing a lot of nitrogen because you just trigger volatilization. How often you get a 10? Because you actually saw the forecast and you called the Orsa guys, hey, I want my urea spread because there's some rain coming, but then you got a 10. Now your losses went out the roof. That is why you protect, because you're just buying time. You're just buying yourself time. I called nitrogen cycle, nitrogen general, the Purdue football cycle. It's meant for losing. So it is. Now the key here is how long you stay in the game. If I watch a Purdue football for 4 quarters, sheesh, I'll take that every day. Because usually you're out in the first one, and that's what you don't want. You don't want to go in the middle of the season and say, I think I'm going to have to apply more nitrogen. That's the game. That's the name of the game. So don't play Purdue football. Trust me, not fun. So, yeah, it is the same. It's going to lose. You're going to lose that nitrogen. It's going to leave. It's a matter of, do you lose it early or do you use it later? And remember, 60% of your nitrogen between V6 and VT. So right now, I'm not gonna, they will kill me at Purdue, but hey, those are great Velo numbers. 60% between V6, right now, I mean, what are we, in a lot of cases, V7, V8, around V6 to VT, you use 60% of nitrogen. The question is how much you have left in the tank. And that's the inhibitor. That's why you add it there. None, you're going to play Purdue football. That's not fun. Okay, any more questions about nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, micros, foliars? None? I really appreciate your guys' time today, and thank you for coming. As Ben said it, this is a collaboration. Thank you for coming out here today. You guys have our contact info, and we're excited. We're excited to be here. We're excited to collaborate with you guys, and I'm excited for you guys to try those products, especially Crop Lift. If one of you wants to split and go, you let me know. I took one grower on it. I can take another one. It's a good product.
Thank you, Edwin. And Roger said it, this isn't a Landus commercial.
Yeah.
But it is the collaboration. And it's difficult for us to say that product is $7. Because it kind of depends on how much we buy them all at once, right? And then pricing. So if there's an interest, check with his team at Ursa. We'll get right back to you with what a delivered price is. Not trying to hide anything from you, though. It's difficult to say, are you buying one tote or a semi-load, right? And we'll put together a quote and get it out there. But again, it's not about playing the sales pitch. It's about doing the right products for your ground. It's not necessarily the right stuff for Texas and Oklahoma. Okay. Roger, I want to thank Ursa for allowing Landus to come in and share some stuff. Fully invite everybody to stop by our office in Des Moines if you're headed to the Farm Progress Show, or if you're just over that way. Des Moines is, I know, a vacation destination for a lot of you. But reach out to the Ursa team and we'll be happy to show you on an individual or on a group basis. Thank you very much.
Just to kind of close things out. Just kind of close things out. Again, I appreciate everybody taking the time as well. A lot of things going on. There's spring, there's wheat harvest, there's haying, there's little creek land, there's a lot of things going on, so I do appreciate it. You know, today, we knew we had a packed agenda. We knew it would be like drinking out of a fire hose. There's a lot of information. Today was about education. You know, 40B, 45Z, carbon credits, carbon sequestration. Here are these terms that are thrown out. I mean, I started this thinking about putting together a meeting because I've been asked the same questions. The question always comes back to me is, who's a reliable source? Does anybody get paid? Who understands it? Who can we go to? So, trying to maybe do a little more as far as understanding kind of the footprint and where it goes. And hopefully we maybe educate a little bit, maybe we dispelled some misnomers, you know. This isn't about IP grain. This isn't about, hey, that we're looking for 1 million bushels and we're going to pay 25 cents. This is more about, this is a system, this is a process. But it helps us. It helps us figure out how to help you. How do we figure out a way to add more value to what you do every day? Is by through education, awareness, these types of programs, and then maybe working on coming up with scores. How do we help you market? We got to know what we have. And do some of the collaboration, hook up with different companies like Landus, with Bruce and his team, and figuring out how can we go to market, you know, and then maybe some of the tools that are available. You know, there's going to be some opportunities. You know, we're not in the business as far as lending money, but there's ways we can offset some risk. We've not been in the chemical business or the fertilizer business, but maybe we can provide an avenue or an angle. We'll have a pricing list on here that we can do. I mean, there's products that are manufactured out of Boone, as you heard. You know, they're going to take this glass of tea and they're going to put a different label on it, but they're going to make it your glass of tea. They're going to make it specialized. And I think there's value to that. So I think this isn't the end. This is kind of the beginning. There's going to be more education coming. And I know if you're like me, you'll be driving home, you'll have a bunch of questions. You come up with them, throw them back at us. And we'll try to help. I think going forward, it would be beneficial for us as a company to understand kind of a score. I think it would be beneficial for Scott if we knew that all the corn in our area and all the beans in our area of what our CI score was. And we could actually go out and market it. We'll at least know where it's at. Where's our benchmark at and where we go? Each one of you in here will be working on that as you move forward. And we'd like to be part of that process and help. And hopefully you understand why. Because it will help us be able to market those bushels. So, kept you a long time. I can't wait to get out and eat. My watch says it's 88 degrees outside. So, do appreciate everybody coming. And again, if you have questions, let us know. Thank you much.